Hello, Scott here, and welcome to yet another completely unprofessional unboxing. Got my new Angel's cap on to try to tame the bedhead that I have going on inside of there. Not quite as dirty and dingy, but I'm sure it will break down over the years just like my other ones do. Anyways, so yes, another unboxing. Got a few more of these to get through before I take to heart some of the suggestions that my friend Ken gave me. So Ken, absolutely going to be doing a couple of those things that you offered up. Just want to get through these and before I give those a go. And to be perfectly honest, I need to prep for those because they're going to be outside of my scope of unprofessionalism. They're going to be a little bit more professional, so to speak. But anyways, unboxing. Or unbagging. So this is something that came from the UK. I was in a particular group on Facebook, and someone was offering up a few things. And after coming in contact with them through a direct message, they were more than happy to sell this to someone who was going to appreciate it and use it, and also offered it at a lot less than what was expected, which is fantastic. So without further ado, Coleman Camping Steak Knife, trusty. We are into the third month in 2022. No injuries whatsoever. Close one. So anyways, let's go ahead and open this up. And I may not need it. I'll just kind of give it a little pull here. See how it goes. There we go. Okay, so hopefully this will be as interesting to some of you as it is to me. This particular setting is not everyone's fancy, but it's one that I thoroughly enjoy. Is that it? Okay. Oh, is it? Feels awfully heavy. Wow. That is... Whoop. Hopefully no personal information got on there. I don't want to edit this damn thing. So, some of you may already recognize the pink cover, or pinkish cover, with the by Professor M.A.R. Barker. So let's kind of pull these out here. Is that it? Yes. Okay. We'll set that aside. So, what we have here is Empire of the Petal Throne. This was published by, was this the one that was published by Different Worlds? Yes. Fantasy role-playing adventure and the man in the world of Man of Gold and Flame Song. There is an incredible amount of history involving, what Empire of the Petal Throne is, what brought about its creation, and its testament to, it's still being a vibrant and living and wonderful world to roleplay in to this very day, and an active community supporting it. But all that aside, its claim to fame essentially is, generally speaking, it is the first published setting for Dungeons and Dragons. Well, yeah, I would say Dungeons and Dragons, but the first published setting. But there's so much more intricate historical aspects involved with that's kind of almost just giving a very poor layman's term. But I am not a living Wikipedia. A lot of this knowledge I have swirling around in there exists. It's just difficult for me to pull them out to accurately, portray, some of the historical relevant aspects of this game. So, but maybe it can speak for itself. So, yes, so I was in the Tecamel Facebook group, and someone was selling off quite a few materials in regards to, Tecamel and Empire of the Petal Throne. And this came up, and also the map that was included with it. One of the things that was a selling point was, yes, the Jakálla map, an important city. It was still in the middle of this book, which I believe this book sometimes is sold with the map missing, and I can see why. So for those of you not familiar with it, how would I break down Tecamel? Well, Tecamel is an extremely rich, diverse world that was created, by M.A.R. Barker, apparently when he was a child. And so this world has been rolling around in its head for years before it even was utilized as a setting for a role-playing game. You can go find out all the information online. You can vet that if you like, but that's just my general understanding about it. And I'm not going to, get into some sort of debate as to, how it actually happened and deal with a bunch of actuallys. So, so back to Empire of the Petal Throne. And so yeah, it's if my base comparison, it's the reason why so many people are kind of, I'm not going to say turned off, apprehensive, maybe scared of Tecamel, is because it's a world similar to what Glorantha is. It's primarily a singular creation by a singular, very talented individual who had the ability to create this fantastic living and breathing world that has a lot of idiosyncrasies that make it special. And it's due to this, this huge amount of information that exists to supplement this world that actually does bring to life that can be a bit overwhelming for some people to tackle. And me being one of them. When first discovering this, it just seemed like this is just too big, too broad, too much. And just kind of felt like in order to exist within this world that you have to know everything. But come to find out, like I did when I started delving into, Glorantha and RuneQuest, that the people who are fans of Empire of the Petal Throne and all things Tecamel are more than accommodating to to allow you to compartmentalize, your existence within the world, your introduction within the world, and what you do within there. Like so many things where there's this giant amount of information, this giant amount of lore. It's just taking it one step at a time. You don't need to know everything that exists, surrounding where you currently are. So I'm kind of prattling on and on and on and on. This is an unboxing. This is not a half-ass lesson about Tecamel. So, in my opinion on on games with a lot of lore, that would be for another day. So you bought this. This is what you saw on the back as you were thumbing through it. First off, there's a quote by Gary Gygax. I simply state that it is the most beautifully done fantasy game ever created. It is difficult for me to envision the possibility of any rival being created in the future. Bold statement, and to be fair, there's probably only a few settings I can count on one hand that would rival the existence of the world that is within this book and many other books. So, Tecamel, World of Fantasy and Adventure. The setting for this fantasy campaign is an alien planet, Tecamel, where a cosmic cataclysm stranded human and extraterrestrial invaders eons ago. A hostile world of poisonous flora and fauna with intelligent and vengeful native races. Mankind and its allies must battle for survival with nothing save medieval technology. But magic aids them, and there are certain supernatural powers which may intervene. And so there we are. Classic cover. And it's the fact that it's in colors is even better. Absolutely love this, and it's in excellent condition too. I mean, this is something that I'm going to sit down and take my time and enjoy. I own a copy of this. I did buy it on a drive-through. Have it printed out from Staples or somewhere like that. But it's different. I mean, some people say it's just paper and a cover, but there's still something special about having an original printed copy of a game within your hands, especially one that's that's old school and has been around and quite possibly older than the person reading it. Well, barely. But so originally came out in 1975 here. There's another reprinting in 1987 by Different Worlds. The original one was from TSR, and that was in that beautiful box set that you can find online if you got an extra $300 to $500 to $600, depending on how well shape it is in. So we have a long introduction here from Dave Arneson. I'm not going to go through it here. This is something that you can find and read for yourself online. But so we've got two, of the big wigs of D&D, and then here's another foreword by Gary Gygax. So So yes, so this is from Dave Arneson in 1987, and a forward from the original edition from Gary Gygax in 1975. So M.A.R. Barker, very much like Tolkien, was, I believe, a linguist. I don't know if that was his specialty or not. I know I read it several times, but like I said, information in, jumble, jumble, jumble. And so a lot of thought is done within the language, both verbal and written within his world. And right off the bat, you're hit with that within the game. You've got a beautiful drawing here. Let me just make sure. Yep. With the noted as the end of one of the lovers of Queen Nyari of the Silken Thighs, a great and evil ruler of the Ben Naljan dynasty. Now, the only thing you're going to stumble over is pronunciation within this game, but don't let that stop you. Also, I in several games that I play, they say just pronounce it as you see it. It's okay if you're not pronouncing it correctly all the time. Just try to get through it. Anyways, is shown here. Lord Miru of the Perdonim is being taken away to his death by two Thunuru, servants of the Queen. So right off the bat, you're hit with something that you might have trouble pronouncing, and beautifully scripted language that that looks like probably no other that you've seen at this point. And so right off the bat, if you were a young child who was just going through, yes, I love dragons, I love dungeons, I love adventuring, I love kicking down doors, and this could be a bit apprehensive in like, what is this? What am I dealing with? Oh wow, look at this, the new Different Worlds magazine. Stay on top of Tecamel. Subscribe now. Subscribe to back orders. Look at this. All right, so getting sidetracked here in my nostalgia. So you're also going to find that even though that there is some beautiful artwork within the pages of this book, it's very dense. Not just in the style of a lot of the books of the time in role playing games, but this kind of holds the a lot of the Tecamel stuff kind of holds the first place trophy for a lot of words and with very little breaks within it, and also artwork. But this is going through the history of the world of Tecamel, which, even though it looks like it's a lot to get through, the history of what brought Tecamel around is interesting as hell. Fantastic read. Even if you're not interested in the game, just check it out. It's a wonderful, well, I guess creation story is not the word for it, but it's a wonderful story about a particular type of cataclysm and Armageddon that occurred within a world and just affected the whole world. So we go through the creation, and as stated, this was utilizing the D&D rule set of the time when it was written. We've got a couple Pei Choi here, wonderful black and white artwork. And then we go through skills for warriors, priestly skills, and magic users. And a lot of evocative, non-standard D&D spells within here. Excuse me. And different levels of experience and so forth. So some of these things are going to look standard in regards to D&D, but it's not necessarily the skill set within D&D that's important within the world of Tecamel. It's the social skills. It's how you conduct yourself within the wide variety of tiers that exist within the world of Tecamel. It's a social game. I wouldn't really call it a storytelling game, but it's a lot of the stuff that you're going to deal with within Tecamel hinges on how you conduct yourself and recognize your standing within the society of the world. And of course, there's going to be, adventure. There's going to be fights. There's going to be exploration. There's going to be all those wonderful things that we love about role-playing games. But, the kind of the mindset of the murder hobo does not exist. within this world. And if it does, you pretty much do it once, and that's the end of it. And I think that's also what may be a problem with people who find that these lore-heavy games that they take issue with, is that there's a certain amount of expectations of play within the game, and some people just don't like that. And good for them. Nothing says that they have to play in a game where there's certain aspects and expectations from either the world or the GM. And if they don't like it, they're more than welcome to make Tecamel their own, and conduct themselves as they see fit in the world that they run or play in, as agreed upon by the people at their table. But there is generally an acceptable foundation if you're going to play with others, within the world itself, that you're going to probably consider adhering to be asked back to the table again, so to speak. So, all right. So a lot of, like I said, there's going to be a lot of D&D aspects as the foundation here of the world. But you're going to see a lot of non-standard descriptions of how things occur. The monsters themselves. I mean, these are the beginnings of not just an ugly creature that you can fight for experience or gold. These are native and also alien creatures that were on this world when it essentially disappeared and turned into what it is now. That have a huge societal structure within the game, from not just like one particular thing, but a majority of them, other than just like the animalistic creatures that these these non-human races that M.A.R. Barker created within his world and transferred into the game itself. They weren't just a shell of what he envisioned. He put this information within the game. And wonderful old school art here. And we're going, so these are the different encounters within the game, both, non-human and, animals and whatnot. And here we are. This is a beautiful map of Jakálla. So there's a certain kind of, I don't want to call it a cliche, but there's a certain way that a lot of people start within the game as they kind of get off the boat in Jakálla, so to speak, and work their way up to an acceptable position within the society of Tsolyánu. I think I'm pronouncing that correctly. I know I mess it up. I mean, I can barely pronounce Nyarlathotep. It takes me tons of practice with my tongue. So the city itself is a center focus within a lot of people's beginning aspects of their introduction to Empire of the Petal Throne. But I mean, it's just the feel of this too. I'm half tempted to take this thing out and frame it. Some people may be screaming their heads off, no, but it's just, God, it's just. Anyways, I'm a map freak, self-admitted. So continuing on, so this book is in wonderful, pristine shape. And so we continue on through the book. So for those of you who are familiar with a lot of the old school aspects of, the old school leanings of some of the games from our past, you're going to recognize that there's a lot of just charts, a lot of informations, a lot of columns, a lot of stuff that's just kind of thrown at you that you need some sort of index to decipher. Which there's other versions. This is the original version of it, but some people have taken Tecamel into their own bosom, so to speak, and made their own version of the game, keeping the stylistic and societal leanings of the game, but making the rules a little bit more easier to digest within it. But it really depends on the person. Some people use this, some people use a variety of rule sets. Some people play OD&D, some people play first edition, some people play second, and so on. There's different versions of of the Empire of the Petal Throne, of the world of Tecamel that you can play in, but still get the same the same sensation, the same feel of it when you do. So we're dealing with the gods, a variety of religion, like in the world of RuneQuest and Glorantha. Religion is very important within this game, and it's something to respect. And then here we go. This would be, I guess, considered to be handouts at the time. There's a sample of a certified issued by the Palace of the Realm to foreigners who achieve citizenship status within the game. Okay, so there we go. So this is kind of like I said, this is what would be considered a handout, along with a literal translation of what's on there, and then a translation there in the bottom. So it's very rich, very involved. You can kind of get as involved and lost in the world as you want, just with the material alone. Dealing with developing. Okay, so here's the GM information. Here's essentially time, prospective referees, developing an underworld, and we have the other side. So fantasy world of M.A.R. Barker's Tecamel. We have Empire of the Petal Throne. Only $12. Now, as much as I wish that this only cost me $12, it was a little bit more. But like I said, I was able to obtain this for far less than what you would get, from other outlets online. But what else do we have here? We have the Tomb Complex of Nirashanbo, an introductory level adventure by Mark Pettigrew, a Jakálla intrigue, Quadar Dalakoi. Oh boy. Miniature rules. So yeah, there was a skirmish battlefield type game, I believe, that was associated with the world of Tecamel. The Art of Tactical Sorcery, Northwest Frontier map set, Deeds of the Everglorious, the Histories, the Book of Ebon Bindings. Only $9.95. I don't think you can find the Book of Ebon Bindings anywhere for less than $300 right now. The Tsolyánu language, and the Best of Journals, Volume 1, 2, and 3, dealing with, a variety of histories that may not be included in the book. And then here we go. Here's a note on pronunciation within the book, the Tsolyánu script, and the actual consonants. And, oh, I'm babysitting my in-laws' dogs while they're on a cruise. Pansy, quiet. And the key to the map of Jakálla. So, I mean, what can I say? This is probably as good as a version of this as you can get. A little bit of wear on the front, but I mean, just want to stop everything that I'm doing when I'm finished with this video and sit down and just reread this book. And then he was kind enough to include a map. Now, I'm going to kind of fold this out a little bit. God, this is a thick map, too. The map of the world, and I mean, there's just not enough room. So I think this was a map that may have came with the original box set. You can't really see it, but over here in the corner, there's a copyright 1975 Tactical Studies rules. I'll look it up online and verify it, but yeah, this kind of looks like the style of the hex map that came when you bought the original box set. It is in pristine. It's in a pristine state, and just this thick paper. It almost feels like there's kind of like an odd textured seal over it. But absolutely beautiful, absolutely wonderful, and fantastic. I could not be happier. This is something that would probably end up going in a frame also. Love maps, but I'm never any good at folding them. There we are. And there we go. All right. So this has been another, rambling, completely unprofessional unboxing. I'm Scott. If you sat through this, thank you. Give a like, give a subscribe, all that standard stuff. I may throw a link to a couple things in here for drive-through if you're interested in seeking out the Empire of the Petal Throne or other aspects of Tecamel. Definitely check me out if you get a moment on Titterpigs. We've got another episode coming up. We're recording tomorrow. We have another special guest. We can't get enough of them. We, got to say we love our special guests. And that will be out next week. Not going to spoil who it is. I'll save that for the release. But so there you go. Empire of the Petal Throne, The World of Tecamel, the 1987 reprint by Different Worlds, along with what looks to be a map from the original box set in pristine shape. And so thank you. Hope you enjoyed this, and I hope you check out The World of Tecamel. Have yourself a fantastic day.